It's Monday morning right now, and as you can see, I stripped down my boat. And I want to go ahead and tear it down and make sure I redo everything. And that way I have a strong and perfect working boat. Now, some of the issues that I had with my tying, I know in the beginning that I said I'm not going to go ahead and upgrade the steering on this boat. But being on Boondock's team, you know, they're sending me all these parts and like, all right, I'll go ahead and do it. So the first thing I swapped out was the rudder. Okay. Now, if you guys are tie-in owners or you know about the tie-ins, you know that the boat steering is good. Stock steering, I should say, okay? But when you start changing or start upgrading parts on the boat, like the rudder, you're gonna have to upgrade everything else because the boat is not tuned for aftermarket parts like the Boondock's rudder. So when you start upgrading your rudder, then you're gonna have to upgrade your steering, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you what happens when you do all that stuff, okay? So I upgraded the rudder, okay? And I want to get rid of the cable system. I actually had the Spectra line cable system from Native, straight out the factory. When I changed this right here, my maneuverability wasn't really there. So I went with the Burley Pro steering upgrade. And as much as I didn't want to use it, I've never used it in the past, I gotta say this thing is freaking awesome. Wow, this thing, it moves left and right like with ease. It's just wow. I'm so happy I have the system, okay? And I highly recommend you get this if you're gonna upgrade your rudder. Now, I upgraded the rudder, okay? I upgraded the steering, and I thought I had a perfect system, but I didn't. And the reason why is because this is upgraded right here. This is upgraded right here, but the handle is now the weak point. You're having all this torque, all this surface area here in the water. And if I'm using the trolling motor, in order to turn this, it's gonna put a lot of strain in the system. A lot of strain. That's why we have to upgrade the cables over here, okay? Now, if I'm gonna go ahead and make a run at full blast around 4.5 miles per hour, moving this rudder right here is gonna put a strain on the weakest link, which is the handle. And let me show you what happens. This is my old handle. And as you can see, upgrading the rudder, then upgrading the cables, the weakest link now is the bottom piece of this handle. No one in the market has really addressed this type of issue, except for Ryan Garrett from Next Level Design. And this right here, I mean, so far I'm the only one that I only know one person that had this broke off, and that's someone in my club, Mike Mitchell. His broke off because this part right here, it just snapped off from being too much for having too much torque. And as you can see with my boat, with a strong trolling motor and going at full speed, constantly tracking with this handle right here put a lot of strain into it. And there was no one in the industry that really addressed this except for Ryan Garrett. Ryan Garrett, me and him have been talking about this whole system about this whole project he was creating, and I was giving him some feedback, you know, why this is necessary. And I showed him the pictures of this, and he had a perfect solution. And this is his solution. Check this out. Isn't this awesome? CNC machined aluminum. And he made this completely adjustable. And as you can see, I have spacer inside of it, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and install this, and we're gonna go ahead and see how this applies to the boat. Cause this thing, man, wow, this is the solution. With this, I get this installed, I think I'll have a bulletproof system. You wanna go ahead and loosen up your steering. Now you can take your plate and pull it out a little bit, okay? When you order this, he already has it already assembled, so I don't think there's a need for me to take it apart and see what it looks like. But he gave you the necessary hardware and gives you a washer, and I'm gonna go ahead and replace this into my system. Get your brand new aluminum steering handle from Garrett, put it right, the plastic washer on top, put your plate next, and then your plastic spacer. gonna go ahead and take my steering plate right here and then go ahead and align it straight. All right, that looks good. Now he provides you a washer and a nut. Now before I put this nut back in, I'm gonna put some Loctite. I usually like using blue Loctite because it's easy to break off. The red one, you got that thing is pretty strong. Now what I like about his design is that if you put this too tight, it's not going to mess with the tightness of your steering. So, and because he has it tuned perfectly, and that way that this screw is tight with the handle itself, and it's not going to cause any tight friction between your steering Okay, so now with these lines over here, you want to make sure that you pull it as tight as you can, because you don't want any slack, or otherwise it's gonna fall off the disc. So what I do over here is, what's cool about these systems with these Burley Pros is that they have a tensioning plate, and these tensioning plates allow you to keep your system tight. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten up the cables over here. Make sure that this thing is dead center, okay? And then go back over here. Make sure you check your cables over here and it's completely tight. Now, with the Burley Pro disc, these discs and the outsides are really far out, so it's really hard for the lines to skip off or jump off the disc. So right now it's looking pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and place it down like so. I'm gonna make sure that my steering handle is dead center, and I'm gonna pull the slack. I must pull the line a little bit more. Okay. So before you lock everything down or tighten it, you want to make sure that you just do a soft install first. So what I do is screw in these screws, not so tight at first. Everything it's not totally tight yet. I want to go ahead and make sure that this is completely dead center again. And I'm going to show you a tip that Bam showed me, how to keep this dead center and to remove all the guessing work, and that's using duct tape. Make your handle dead center, and then lock down your handle with duct tape like that, so that way it doesn't move. Now you want to go ahead and go right here. Make sure your steering is dead center right here, and get duct tape. And tape it down. And your final adjustments go right here. Make sure you pull your line so there's no more slack. Tensioning plates, I'll go ahead and wrap it around. I'll lock down the first set of screws. All right, so now we can remove the duct tape and test the steering. Wow. Now, I can already feel the instant sensitivity of this handle. And let me tell you why. This right here, it's, as you can see, my old steering over here, it's plastic, okay? And when you're applying a lot of torque in this, especially with the Spectra line and the Boondocks rudder, it feels spongy. And because of that, it's because the star or the star slot over here, it's not a solid metal, and it probably has some type of cushiony feel to it, okay? And as you can see, it's starting to have a lot of wear in it. And if you're a tournament fisher, you cannot have any of your main components fail on you, especially the steering handle. So having this right here, the instant response, man, wow. Brian, you outdid yourself on this one. I mean, I think you guys can agree that this right here is the missing component to have a bulletproof steering system. Ryan, you outdid yourself. if you're interested in ordering one of these, I'll go ahead and put the information below. And I gotta say, this is a winner. This is a winner. It must have. If you plan to upgrade the steering components on your boat, this is a must-have item. Thank you for tuning in, watching Marvin Outdoors, and catch you next time.